Have you been overcome with fear lately? When you're out trying to make your dreams come true and turn your burning desire into reality? This has happened to me so many times in the past, where there was truly something I wanted and needed, and I knew would benefit my life and the life of my family for the better. But when I was faced with that situation, like a turtle shrunk back into my shell of comfort and security. In the chance you're watching me for the first time, hello, my name's Greg Nelson. I was born and raised in the suburbs outside of Seattle, Washington. I'm the only child of two hardworking and loving parents. I was always that kid, hustling to make an extra buck. Mowing lawns, pulling weeds for somebody, or washing cars. At the age of 13, I took on the responsibility of a newspaper route, and eventually took on a second. One before school and one after. No days off, because the news had to be delivered 7 days a week. Keep in mind, this was pre-internet. Fast forward to a year after high school, I went to work as a laborer for a carpentry company who built homes and apartments in my area. After about a year of this and finding out that most framers find another line of work after about the age of 35 because their bodies just can't handle that type of hard labor anymore, I decided to go into the grocery industry where my body could stand the test of time. However, after climbing the ladder into management, I quickly found out the money I was being paid was completely different than what I expected it to be. Now starting a family with my firstborn along the way, I had to make a decision. Do I stay and keep working for the national grocery chain that I loved and deny my family some of the finer things in life? A better life where we could afford a little better food, maybe go out and eat once in a while, or spend the money and actually see a movie in the movie theater. Both my significant other and I were working. We had a mortgage, car payment, and all the other expenses that go along with home ownership and running a household. So I had a very scary decision to make. One that would put my household and my family in danger. I walked through the door of fear and went back into business for myself. This was terrifying. There was just more on the line than ever before. In the grocery industry, I was part of a union. I had great health benefits, and I was vested in the union pension. Why leave? I heard this over and over and over again from everybody that I knew and loved. They were only trying to protect me and keep me from failing. But this also fills our mind with doubt that it's hard and difficult to go out and make it on your own and try new things. You hear things like, no one in our family has ever done this kind of thing before. The fear was paralyzing. And with everything on the line, I walked through the door of fear. I believed in myself and my capabilities. Even the other businesses that I had started in my younger days didn't scare me like this. Those businesses were side hustles, and the only risk was losing a little bit of money. This time, if I failed, it wouldn't just be losing a little bit of money. It could result in losing our home, our cars, our comfort, and our security. Since then, I've walked through the door of fear many more times. Leaving my business and getting into sales was another time. With having a professional salesman as a father, I wasn't fearful of my abilities or that I couldn't learn the skill to sell. It would be that I would be paid 100% commission. And if I didn't sell, my family wouldn't eat. I heard a long time ago, I think I was about 19 or 20, I don't exactly remember where, but I heard an acronym for the word fear, and it went like this. Fear stands for false events appearing real. 95% of what we worry about never manifests into reality. The other 5% we have no control over. Once again, I found myself walking through a door of fear. I quickly realized in the sales industry, I would have to face fear multiple times per day, and sometimes multiple times with each customer. Luckily, I had wonderful teachers, and this was a husband and wife who owned a little used car dealership. I spent the next 4.5 years of my life working there. Honestly, it was more like a mentorship or an apprenticeship program that would turn me into the sales professional I am today. It's so funny how people think, isn't it? The other day, I was watching a motivational speech on sales and mindset, and this so-called expert started off their speech with a dig on the used car salesman. Of course, Having worked in the automotive industry for the past 2 decades and having an overall love for mankind and a respect for people, the opinion of the rest of their speech was a little bit jaded. I then realized that some of these so-called experts may not have had started on the ground level in sales like I did. They may have gone to a very prestigious college and entered into a corporate selling arena and have never been taught the art of selling to a complete stranger face to face, or the proper steps to make a sale. In addition, they probably didn't get anything close to the deal they wanted the last time they went out to make a car purchase, because they forget that the people they're actually dealing with are human beings, because they don't teach that in college. My father was in corporate sales most of his selling career. He had a region and a preset client base, and most of his selling was done in written proposal. Sure, there may be a little back and forth about the volume or the cost, but face-to-face time was typically meant for schmoozing, getting to know each other, and very little to do with the sale. Face-to-face sales and having to deal with a complete stranger can be very scary, and yes, the fear can be paralyzing. Yes, there are certain individuals that give the automotive sales professional or the door-to-door sales professional a bad name, but you can say that with anybody in any industry. They normally have no idea what they're doing. They don't have a care for people, and they're in it just to make a quick buck. And once they've made a little bit of money, and usually they don't, because nobody is buying from them anyway, they bounce and they're on to the next thing. When you hear people talking bad about a certain group of individuals where they don't actually know the people personally, they are typically projecting their own lack of knowledge or their own personal experience onto others. The Great Recession forced me to move onto a new car dealership where my sales education grew. This time, the choice of walking through the door of fear wasn't mine. I had to do it for the survival of my family. I absolutely fell in love with selling. It provided me with more freedom than owning my own business. And with no income ceiling, I was able to make more money than I ever had in my life. In fact, after about 5 years of building up a customer base, I was soon making more money than the average attorney, doctor, or dentist. Most importantly, I was able to step up and be the man I needed to be and provide for my family. The last dealership I worked for was 100% top-notch, and I knew it would be my home for a very long time. I spent the next 12 or 13 years doing my best selling, developing relationships with customers and their families, and making a good name for myself in the community. Not only was I consistently in the top 10% for sales, my CSI, or Customer Service Index, was always above 95%. For about the past 5 years that I worked for this organization, I coached and trained hundreds of new and seasoned sales professionals on how to speak to customers properly, how to properly follow the steps of the sale, and how to follow the store's overall sales process. Most of what I was coaching on was in between the 2 years. The mechanics or the steps to the sale is only about 5% of what goes into selling. The other 95% is all mental. And it's the mental part that keeps sales professionals from achieving great things in their life. Many of these new sales associates came from other industries like medical, retail, food service, construction, business-to-business sales. I even had the pleasure of working with and coaching a former Buddhist monk who had gotten into the sales industry. The list goes on. The number one reason why people enter the sales arena is because their earning potential is unlimited, and in most cases they don't need a college degree. Or if they have a college degree in another field, getting into the sales industry, their college degree is just about useless. Coaching isn't exactly telling people what to do. That would be a counselor. Nor is it like a personal trainer who screams in your face to run faster, lift more, or jump higher. Coaching, and how it's most effective, is through a conversation and asking questions about what's most important to that particular individual. Although most get into sales for the unlimited earning potential, there are just certain things that have gone on in that person's life that are causing the fear and limiting them from going out and achieving massive results. Normally, this is a product of upbringing and conditioning. For instance, those that don't have a problem selling in volume may have a problem with a low gross profit percentage, lower than what the organization would like to see. Usually, they saw their parents breaking their backs, earning their paychecks. They were taught that money is scarce, money doesn't grow on trees, and it's the root of all evil. Ah, the amygdala. It's there to protect us, but it's also the cause of so many failed dreams. How many people just give up on going after what they really want in life because the fear is so strong? I too have coaches and mentors in my life, and one of my mentors a long time ago drilled into me that fear is an indicator that you must do what you're fearing. But every time I was nervous having to pick up the phone to follow up with a customer or ask the customer to spend their hard-earned money with me, I could feel the butterflies in my stomach. And having to ask my customer the hard questions about their credit worthiness, how much money the good doctor makes, and if that doctor's ever missed a payment. Fear. Walk through the door of fear. Don't turn around. If you're transitioning from your current career and getting into another career, even if it's not sales, don't let the fear stop you. If you have a divine calling on your life and you need to get your message out, put your chin up and walk through the door of fear. If you know you must, and you don't know how, the first step is to walk through the door. I too have been held back by fear, and having experienced bad things in the past, after walking through the door of fear, I realized what's in the past is in the past, and those situations typically don't repeat themselves again. Take that step and walk. It's like driving a car in the night. You can only see as much as the headlights will allow you to see. But the further you go, the more is revealed. What you're going through is no different. I ask that you use fear to your advantage. Use fear as a springboard into your future rather than a brick wall that you can't get around. Because you're meant for much, much more. Think bigger. Dream so big that your vision includes more than just you and your immediate family. Dream so big your entire family generation is affected. And so is the entire region you live in, the nation, or even the world. With an unlimited earning potential and knowing you have me in your corner to coach you along the way, could getting into the sales industry fund your massive dream? Walk through the door of fear. When I